Telstra's mobile network has suffered a major nationwide outage affecting millions of customers and causing delays to public transport networks. Telstra and the telecommunications industry ombudsman say 000 calls are not being impacted by this and that emergency calls are being redirected to other providers. However, WA Police has released a statement saying 000 calls have been impacted and they're recommending people check on vulnerable family members and friends. Our reporter Julia Andre is in Sydney and joins us now. Julia, what do we know?
Good morning, Gemma. Well, this is an issue that the federal government is aware of, and Acting Communications Minister Kristy McBain has put out a statement this morning saying that she's aware that Telstra is aware of this issue and they're working to resolve the problem. Now, many Telstra customers this morning would have woken up and would have struggled to get access to their internet, send texts or receive calls, and a lot of customers are reporting that they're even seeing the SOS sign on their phone. They're getting no access to their internet or their network at all. Now, looking at Down Detector, that's a service which maps when you see these outages in networks. There was a large spike at 5 a.m. this morning where it seemed a lot of Telstra customers reported an outage, and by 6:30, an hour and a half later, there were more than 7,000 complaints from Telstra customers. It's not just Telstra customers which are being impacted, it's also telcos which use the Telstra network, such as Aldi Mobile or Belong Mobile. And we've heard from the telco ombudsman this morning who said they're looking into the issue.
We have heard from Telstra it is a national outage, which does mean that it's a significant outage, more than 100,000 people obviously impacted, possibly significantly more than that. But at this point in time, it is early days and we are looking to get more information because it does have such a big impact on people's lives.
So Telstra is the largest telco in the country. So even though it's reported that this has impacted over 100,000 people, it's not just Telstra customers themselves, it's businesses, cabs this morning, which have been impacted. And we've heard from Telstra themselves in a statement about half an hour ago. They've said in that statement, we're looking into an issue affecting some mobile calls and data connections. They've said if you're having trouble connecting, try again, as it may work as a retry. We're on it and we'll share an update as soon as it is fixed. But for now, it's a bit of a waiting game to see when people will be able to get access to their network.
And Julia, how are people being affected?
Well, I'm here at Sydney Airport this morning at the domestic departures terminal, and people have described it as nightmarish. I spoke to one woman who had travelled from Windsor, about an hour's drive to get here with her small children. She wasn't aware if her flight had been delayed or if there had been any changes. People had been reporting that they couldn't navigate through the city because they didn't have access to maps. But let's hear from some people themselves who have told us about how this outage has impacted them.
I left home at 4:15, and since then there's no network.
It was just SOS mode, couldn't make any calls, couldn't access any internet.
It's flicking backwards and forwards from 5G, it's using my battery while it's trying to find internet. I couldn't log on to find out whether my flight was on time.
Just travelling here, we had using the maps and it just went out all of a sudden, so an SOS only.
Since in the morning I've started, it's very bad outage. I can't turn on my radio to get a job. I can't turn on my cab charge machine so that I can ask the money for the customer, but no.
So a huge impact to many Telstra customers as well as other Australians this morning at Sydney Airport and throughout the city here in Sydney.
Julia Andre there in Sydney, thank you. Now, here are the outage issues that we know of so far. All regional train services in Victoria are down. Some passengers calling local ABC radio to report their trains have been stuck at stations for up to 2 hours. New South Wales Transport says trains on the Southern Highlands line are not running between Campbelltown and Moss Vale-Goulburn. There are also no trains between Newcastle and Maitland. Now, Canberra's public transport authorities are working to fix an information outage with its ticketing system, My Way Plus. In South Australia, hundreds of traffic signals are offline, which will cause some congestion. The state's public transport and service SA is not affected. The outage is also affecting taxi payments, though, with drivers unable to process fares. Calls to 000 should be unaffected by the outage, with calls being rerouted to use other providers' mobile networks. And emergency services in Victoria and the telecommunications industry ombudsman have said this is the case. However, police in Western Australia have posted a statement on Facebook saying the outage appears to have affected some 000 calls, advising people with a vulnerable family member, friend, neighbour or co-worker to consider offering support during the service disruption.